Welcome to Love You Bro podcast. It's been a minute here since we've done our last episode. Welcome to Love You Bro podcast. I'm your host, Jude Devella. This is my brother, Jamie Devella.
What it do?
Absolutely, man. It's good to see you, bro. It's good to be back. It's good for you to kind of get a look to check out the new set.
New digs, yeah, man.
What do you think?
It's sweet.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
I like this. Yeah, I like how we're sitting more chill and more man.
We've got a lot of big guests coming on, guys. We've taken a little bit of a hiatus here in the middle of the dog days of summer. A lot of good stuff going on that we're going to talk about today that we're going to get to. It's kind of funny, like when we don't do the podcast, how much time my brother and I spend even on the phone talking every day about all this stuff. So
bullshitting.
When we get here, it's about, just trying to catch up and talk about some of this good stuff and some of the good things that we're going to do with this thing. But we're super excited to be back. New digs here. Thank you to Lula, to Lula's Kitchen, Southern Cookhouse. Sorry, to Lula's Southern Cookhouse, and just excited to be here in the new setting. So, bro, let's just dive into all the stuff that's going on. We got to go over Chiefs training camp. All the stuff's going on. There's positions and things you and I talked about that are starting to play out a little bit that we're going to get into. We got to dive in the Royals, man. We had to bring our boy. We had to throw our boy Bobby Witt up there for the month of July. There's just a lot to catch up on, man. Olympic basketball. There's all kinds of stuff but I think first and foremost right now, and I talked to B-Mac earlier. I want to bring B-Mac on sometime in the next 4 or 5 weeks.
For sure.
As we start going down the stretch, because he was like, man, you just let me know, and just let me know when I'm on. He's going to want to talk more about, because remember we talked about as we go down the stretch, are they going to get through June? Are they going to get through July? Are they going to be relevant come August when training camp starts for the Chiefs? Are they going to be relevant? Look at them now where they're at. I mean, they're right in the thick of things. They started a 3-game series with Boston tonight.
Huge 3-game series with Boston.
They just come off that 6-1 road trip. We're going to talk a little bit about the trades, but we got to talk a little about the trades that they got in before the deadline. And then this huge 3-game series with Boston coming up. I was also looking on their calendar, on the schedule for the calendar over the next month. They got some series coming up with Cleveland.
It's really tough. Yeah, I mean, you'll know this is a big week with them competing with Boston for that wild card. They got to go up, and they have Singer tonight. They got Lugo tomorrow night, and then Reagan. So I mean, it's a really weird schedule too. I don't know how or why it's scheduled, but they play a 3-game with Boston. Mm-hmm. They're off Thursday, and then play a really weird Friday, Saturday with St. Louis, and then they're off Sunday. It's really weird. It's a really weird schedule.
I saw that they're off. So they play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Boston, and then they're off Thursday, and they got Friday, Saturday Cardinals. It's
the dead birds.
Yeah, and then
St. Louis.
And then Sunday they're off, which is weird having off on a Sunday.
It's really weird that they have that. Yeah, it's really weird. But
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, is that Cleveland Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Or the Twins?
I think it's Minnesota.
Because that's right. I pulled things up, and I got some notes, and I'm going to start using.
Yeah, I think it's Minnesota. But yeah, no, I'm pumped, man. And they, at the deadline, I wanted them to be active. They obviously made the early edition of Harvey, and they gave up. Who a dude at first when I saw it came across Caden Wallace. I'm like, whoa, because that was a guy that supposedly hitting a lot in, I think he was in single and he moved up double A. Third baseman was a high round draft pick for him last year.
Right.
And so I was like, that surprised me. But obviously, as you hear guys around MLB, they don't, obviously someone within that organization, they took him, so they had to like him, but they didn't show him enough in the minors to be like, they're willing to part with him. Harvey's kind of been hurt, but when he's on, Harvey's pretty nasty, but he's had a rough couple outings here. Right. He got a close yesterday, but he came in Saturday. Pissed me off, man, because Lorenzen, another acquisition we could talk about, we got from Texas, pitched his ass off, pitched really, really well, gave up a home run. But it's a game you should win when you're up like that. You got to take care of business when you're in this playoff push. He came in to close out the 9th, and I was excited to see him as opposed to MacArthur, because MacArthur is not the guy. He can service a role in the 6th. But
you look at the stats; those are not. God, those are horrible. If someone was like, "This is our closer, and here's his stats," and his ERA, is it ERA? Is it up over 5 now?
If it's not, it's close. If not, it's really, really close.
I mean, dude, those are not closer type numbers.
And when he made the jump last year, I think he made a jump. I mean, he made a pretty big, significant jump, and he showed signs. I just think that's the only thing they had. Right. And this year, when it started off with Will Smith, that was supposed to be the guy, and he struggled so mightily that he went to, Skip and said, hey, you know what? I'm not the guy right now. MacArthur's got to move that way. But since then, since April, he's got a sub-2 ERA. Will Smith, I mean, but once again, he's not going to blow you away. He's not filthy. And kind of that guy in the bullpen, they need to have that, like, that shit that's just nasty.
Right.
And that'll lead us up to one of the guys that got the Ursay kid, who I was listening to McFarland last week, and he's from Oakland, so he follows him pretty close. And, you know, as soon as it came across, it was last Tuesday, was the deadline. Twitter was going crazy about a lot of baseball insiders, like they could have got a steal. That fucking kid blows 98, 100, dude. He is filthy and fearless.
I knew you were pumped about it. You and I were talking about the Harvey trade, talking about getting Lorenzen, but then you were like, man, I'm pumped about the guy we got from the A's because he blows some heat.
Yeah, and he's filthy. And it's a really cool story about him. His backstory, Ursags, is that he was a infielder and went through some dark times, man. You know, went through some dark times and we got, like, you know, drugs, alcohol, and during the COVID years when they weren't playing. And he essentially was out of baseball. Wow. And then, but once again, he's a kid that plays with Oakland. I mean, they have, you know, that's such a mess and trying to go to Vegas and all that shit. Everyone's super high on Mason Miller. That guy blows 103. 103. And that's not bullshit.
Crazy,
that's not made up. 103. So when he was pitching, so he was, I mean, everyone knows about him because he blows 103. His average fastball is 100. I mean, but Ursig was setting him up, and obviously they don't have a ton of saves because they don't have a ton of wins. But I saw Ursig his first outing. It's like, we have zero guys like that in our bullpen. Zero. That dude was fucking throwing BBs with the slide piece and a fucking So he's like literally, it's a great addition, and I think eventually you move him, but he's never been in that role before. So you're talking about right now, essentially it's playoff baseball. You got to win. It's you know, this last month, you know, or this, you know, month and a half that we're about to go, it's kind of must, you know, so I wouldn't be surprised by the end of August, early September to mid-September, he's moving in that closer role.
So you look right now, bro, so we're 63 and 50. And you and I, we started doing our podcast, we started talking about, you know, the Royals early on, then we brought on BMAC. Bro, if someone would have told you in April, come August 4th, you're going to be 63 and 50 with the Red Sox coming to town for 3 games, where would you have thought our team, where do you think the Royals would have been? If they just said 63 and 50, were you thinking we're in first place and we're up 5 or 6 games? Or were you thinking, because if someone had told me we were going to be 63 and 50 right now at this day and age, I'd have been like, well, we're up 4 or 5 games in the AL Central.
See, I mean, and part of me, because especially when the Indians lost Bieber, you know, when they lost him, I was like, yeah, man, it's going to be ours. Because coming into it, all the talking heads are like, you know, our division sucks. Like the Royals suck, and we couldn't say anything. The White Sox are horrible. Detroit had some young kids coming up, but they were, you know, it was essentially the Indians and the Twins. And the Twins, you know, probably being, you know, probably neck and neck between those two teams. But then to see what the Indians do, and the Indians are loaded. I'm like, I hate the Indians. I hate the Indians, but they're...
Those guys ever lose, man? Every time I look up, Indians win. Or Guardians, I'm sorry, Guardians. Guardians win. Guardians win. Jeez.
So but they've been super, but it's always been a super consistent baseball team. They never really said, I can't name on one hand the years they've sucked in the last, I mean, since when they had Manny and all those dudes, like, I mean, they just don't
that was a team winning back in the day, man.
Oh my God. Jim Thome, the Alomar brothers. They were, but no, I mean, I'm just surprised. And once again, if somebody would told me, you know, the beginning of the year, it's now August and we're playing relevant baseball, I'd be like, there's not happening. I figured we would, the guys we signed, whether it's Lugo in the offseason, that'd be guys that you would, Wacko, that'd be guys that you would deal at the deadline and get some more guys into the farm system and get some dudes up.
We talked about that before we brought BMAC, and you and I were talking about, man, when they get to a certain point, if we're not there, I think they need to get, if Lugo's doing well and walking those guys.
I was willing to trade. I was willing to trade everyone other than obviously Witt. If that's the case, because for however many years, and their organizational view was to just do enough, but like, and for me, they didn't get enough for guys in the past. And I'm not, you know, I would never knock Dayton Moore. He got us a World Series, but I think his philosophy and JJ's philosophy are completely different.
For sure,
I mean, I think they're completely
100%.
different. And I think you know, JJ for me thus far has knocked it out of the park. And once again, just for the fact that we're playing competitive baseball right now, beginning of August. And just the trades that, like, once again, at the deadline that he made, Urseg, love. I mean, I absolutely love him. Harvey, he has the potential, but I don't know if he's hurt. Yeah. I don't know if he's hurt, and that's why Washington was like, hey, we're looking to get rid of him. Let's get rid of him now. He's hurt because he hasn't looked like the guy from last year. Last year, and the fact that they jumped on him. But if he can find that role in the 8th, I mean, he's going to get every option in the 9th. Yeah. He's going to get every option in the 9th.
Every opportunity for sure.
And so MacArthur is not that guy. They recognize that. But then Urseg. And once again, that guy has like 4 years left on option. Right. If you steal him and that guy means you're closer and you're playing in the postseason, well, I mean, once again, after Ragan's last year and then Urseg this year, it's like, holy shit. Yeah. I mean, that's name two better trades. If the Urseg thing, but right now, even if he's an 8th inning guy, with in the 8th high leverage situation, he's going to come in and blow gas at 100. Right. Like he's going to come and blow. Like I feel good with that. Like I feel good with that. Now somebody's going to get him. I mean, somebody will get him. But when you have some dude like that, when you're in the dugout, knowing you're coming up in the bottom of the 8th, and that dude's blowing 100, like
it goes back to when you and I talked about back in 14 and 15. And I don't care what anybody says around MLB, and I know a lot of people did, but I don't care what anybody says. The Royals rewrote what teams were doing in 14 and 15 because after that, everybody went and they were like, we need to stack the back of the bullpen. Everybody. It used to be like, you got to have that 1, 2, and 3 starter, and you maybe the 4th, and then you got to have 3 or 4 solid bats, corner outfielders. When the Royals in 14 and 15 showed that if your starters could go 5, and then who had we had Hernandez. Hernandez was going there.
Yeah, HGH.
Yeah. We had Hernandez. Who else we got?
Wade Davis.
Davis was our closer. But in between there, we had
the lefty.
The lefty used to throw for us, and then Hochever for Hochever.
Well, Hochever would be coming in the 6th, and then it would go
Hernandez in the 7th.
and then Wade, and then
we had Holland was in the 8th. Yeah, and then Davis in the 9th. But to see those guys do what they did at the back of the bullpen, and Davis coming to blow smoke. I mean,
Holland was the closer in 14. Davis was the 8th inning guy.
Right.
And then Holland left, and I think he went to Colorado. And then Davis went to the 9th. And then
but remember after we won that in 15, though, Davis got paid a ton of money to the Cubs, and he was he was never the same dude he was when he was here. He was never the same when he was in Chicago.
And it was that run he was on was a historic run. But absolutely, and that's one thing Dayton and give him credit for when he did trade for Shields and gave up Will Myers and some guys that were in our farm system. So I give him the credit because he brought he brought a winning culture.
Right.
He brought a winning culture from Tampa here, and it was a big part of it.
For sure.
It sucks he didn't get to win a World Series here because I think he was done by that following year. But he did bring him, and then he could always build a bullpen. His bullpen, from like guys like Josh Stalmont to like throw 100 miles an hour. Yeah. But he put emphasis into a bullpen, and he did make. So I kind of bashed him earlier, but he did. He brought in Zobrist, he brought in Johnny Cueto, he brought in Edison Volquez, he brought in Josh Willingham.
Yeah, Volquez, and then dude, Zobrist was a beast.
Johnny Cueto, dude. Johnny Cueto.
Yeah, Johnny Cueto was huge.
Because at that time, we were running out J Guts.
Yeah.
And J Guts, I mean, dude, that's a guy. And then, he won a World Series with the Royals as a player and then won a World Series with the Rangers last year. Chris Young, 6'10", he threw it about 86 miles an hour. But so it was Chris Young, it was J Guts, it was, they just didn't have a lot of guys but that's it. When NASCAR Ned was like, get us to the 5th.
Right. Yeah.
If you get us through 5, game over, shut it down.
And it was, man.
Yeah. Put the kids and women and children to bed.
Hernandez would come in, he'd wear that hat sideways, and Hernandez would come to blow gas.
I mean, BBs. Yeah, BBs. And then, like I said, in the 8th, you had Wade, and then 9th Holland, and they all blew. I mean, just cheese. But yeah, so it's super fun, man. And the thing about it is the Chiefs and Royals have never been good at the same time. They've never been good at the same time.
And we've talked about that. It's funny because I've driven some of my players during training camp, right? We've talked, and we were talking about the Royals and stuff. It was some of the Chiefs guys like now, and I'm like, what would be really cool is the Royals keep going down this path right now, and they get to the playoffs, make the playoffs, slip it as a wild card, and then you guys are kicking your season off. But as we talked before. those guys, they feed off that kind of stuff. Because like Kelsey Mahomes, they love to root for B. Witt, the Royals, and do all that.
Oh, yeah.
And then during Chiefs
B. Witt
season,
yeah.
you see Witt and those guys like on the sideline for the Chiefs games. Like, it's really cool when you see a city come together like that. I was just talking to one of my clients. We were driving some people to the Morgan Wallen concert. So Dr. Surik, one of my favorite dudes here in town, talking to Dr. Surik, and Dr. Surik was like, he's originally from Denver, and he was like, man, he goes, I'm just being here, just falling in love with Kansas City and grasping my arms around everything here and what Kansas City has to offer. And he asked me, he goes, have the Royals ever been the same and good at the same time as the Chiefs? And I said no. And he was like, man, he goes, I went through a lot of those playoff games in World Series in 14, 15. He goes, can you imagine if we're in the playoffs here this year and the Chiefs kick their season off?
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about before. Never in the history have we ever done that.
It's never been, it was in 14 when, and I'll never forget it. It was magical, but the Chiefs played on Monday night and we blew out Brady and the Patriots. And that's when everyone said Brady was done.
Right, yeah,
They're like, he's fucking done. He cannot win anymore. And we blitzed him on Monday Night Football. Yeah. But all the Royals were there to support him. And that next night was
Billy
the
Butler
most,
and all those guys,
and Salvi, and that next night was one of the most magical nights in Royals history, that game against the Oakland. So it was Tuesday night, and which was an absolute crazy for that 1-2 night. But I think Kansas City was drunk for that entire week.
Yeah,
because it kicked off with that Monday night game and the Patriots and us beat them. Then Tuesday night winning like that with Salvi hitting it, where Brett's just hands and head like, oh my God. And I love that Ron Darling's TNT and like we're actually going to the playoffs, because it's a play-in, but you're going to the playoffs.
Who was the lefty that we beat from the A's that day? And the A's paid him big money.
Well, he ended up coming here and he pitched for the Cubs.
He pitched here for a minute?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I remember him being here for a minute.
I think he did. He did.
I know. What's his name? John. He was a lefty.
Yeah.
But he was solid. The A's paid big money to get him down the playoff stretch, and when they had us down,
but he couldn't throw to first on his pickoffs. So we ran like fucking little league.
Yeah.
Like the pitcher can't throw to first, like 3-2. So everyone's just like running. So everyone ran on him. So he was he couldn't throw anyone out. Yeah. He couldn't throw anyone out.
What Speed do was taking second and third. Like,
yes. Oh my God. And that was that. Yeah. That was. But that was just a magical. That was a magical time. Like I said, that week it was crazy, because winning that Tuesday night, and it was late, and everybody, for Monday night, everyone who was a sports fan rolled in that Tuesday, and we had not even hosted or smelled anything like that. Royal stuff. So now, like I said, it's super, super exciting. And to me, we get to this point that I would be super let down. And because I'm that person. I'm not like, oh, that's swell we got here. This is awesome. We're here this far and we're playing in August. We need to get one of those spots.
You're not that dude that's going to sugarcoat and be like, oh, we only missed it by 2 games.
No.
Because I'll be that guy, like, man, like they were, and you're going to be like, no, that's bullshit, bro. We should have been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
No,
and I'm not taking any. Yeah. And I'm, that shit will annoy me and piss me off to no end. And take some page out in the Star and like, thanks for the fans. Fuck all that. Like, I need us to, we're here and we had a great, unless someone gets hurt and you do something like that. Right, there's no reason. You have the greatest player right now to me on the planet. You can say it's Judge. You can say it's Ohtani. And that's amazing. Ohtani is that guy. I've never seen anyone do what he does on the baseball field. Judge is an absolute monster. Like that dude's a robot.
Yeah, right.
I mean, the way he hits home runs, and he plays really good center field. But what Witt's doing at a premium position at shortstop. And the other last week against the White Sox, when he hits the grand slam, and then in the bottom of the 9th, he goes and makes a play to left and then a play to right. I was like, there is just hands down the best man on the planet. I don't know. It'd be hard for him.
He hit that grand slam in the top of the 9th, and then the 2 plays, like you just said, that he made at the bottom. I mean, the one that he dove out to his left, and he's in short left field, and comes up. It was just such a smooth, fluent motion of just to the ground, dive up, 90 something across the diamond to throw that dude out.
It's unreal.
Like it's
unreal.
When you talk about being like a robot, when you talk about Judge. It's funny because someone was talking on ESPN about Judge being like a robot, and they were talking about him being like the dude in the Rocky movie, the
Drago.
Because he was just
if he dies, he dies.
Because they were talking about him being like, Drago, like when he was just like he was hitting all those machines and doing all that. They're like, that's the way Judge is in baseball. He's like a robot.
And that Yankees roster, and it pissed me off because I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I would have loved to got Jazz. And Jazz is like, and as soon as he went to the Yankees, I was like, dude, that is a perfect.
He's blown up there.
That's the perfect place for him to go. I mean, because and obviously in Florida, he was like, I mean, he was doing it all. But the kid loves the game, and I watched this really amazing thing on him. We're talking baseball in this trade and what he's meant to them. But he was a guy that they said they don't know if he'd fit in the Yankees clubhouse. So he was on with Ryan Clark, and Ryan Clark was asking about this, and he goes, "Yeah," he goes, "I'm not some little bitch." He goes, when I got his rookie year. And so this is really cool because he's a swaggy dude. I like his style. I like his, he's really cool. He looks cool on the diamond. And baseball can be a complete snooze fest. And I love dudes that wear the chains and have high socks and different colored arm. To me, I love it. And baseball needs that. Yeah,
so like Tatis.
Like Tatis. Yeah. But like our boy, shout out Charles Menahue. When I had him on, I was like, man, I mean, but he takes a lot of pride in it. So he made a lot of his cleats and they were all custom made. So a veteran went in and cut his shit up, his cleats. His first year up in 2021, 22. Yes.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Yes. You got to look at this Ryan Clark, and it's so real and so that's busted, man. Someone did that. So he went and fucked his whole locker up. And he goes, that's not who I. So that's kind of how he got a reputation. But someone going to go mess with the man's cleats. And he goes, this guy, and he didn't call him out. He goes, I wasn't even playing this position. He goes, his best friend's position I was playing. He was like, but I'm a guy that's just kind of getting by in the league. I ain't been paid yet. Right. I ain't been paid yet. Right. This guy is like, so for that's my hard-earned work. Yeah. And he customized all his shit.
Right.
So anyway, but he was a perfect Yankee to go over there. And I like how he plays. And the fact that, telling the Yankees and Gleyber Torres, like our nephew Alex, he is Yankee through and through, bleeds it. And he hates Torres. And Torres, when they asked about it, he goes, I play second base. At the same time, they asked Jazz a question. Jazz is like, I'll play where coach wants me to play. And it's like, that's who you want on your squad. Right. He's playing third base, bro. Last week was his first time he's ever played third base in the major leagues.
But like you said, that dude's got so much swag, though. He's not afraid to take that on. You know what I'm saying?
And then and they're saying how the lights in New York are bigger and some people kind of tighten up a little bit. He blew up. He's blowing up.
But so he's hit all those home runs. He had two games. He had 2 home runs each one of those games. But you see him do that, and baseball is my thing. I mean, I loved it, played it, seen a lot of guys that I played with that were good, that got moved up and stuff, and you start understanding more about where he's at. Everybody's like, oh my God, the Royals screwed up by not getting him. But would he have done what he's doing in New York here? And I don't think so personally myself, because I think when he's in that New York lineup, when you go 1 through 9, you're going to have to pitch to somebody. You and I talked earlier this week. Do you want to pitch to Judge? No. Do you want to pitch to Soto? No. Yeah. I mean, there's guys there. There's 3 or 4 dudes I don't want to throw against those guys. And so when he comes up, you're like, I got to get this dude out because I don't want to pitch against those other guys. So I'm not quite sure if he would have fit the same way. The guy's a superstar, but I don't know if he would have fit as well here as he does in New York.
No, and so I think he would, because what you hear from people who are in and around the Royals organization right now, those dudes love one another. Right. It's a really, really tight knit.
It's a tight clubhouse.
Yeah. And I think Jazz loves to play the game, and that's an easy guy to fit in your clubhouse. I mean,
I think if it's a clubhouse, but I'm talking about as far as lineup wise. Is he going to see the same pitches he sees in New York?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, right now, yes and no. I mean, right now, the fact that he could play third, so right now you could move around. He could play second and he could play center, where give Isabel a day off. He could play, I would love it. But let's talk about what we have here. Back to the trade and what we brought. But Paulie DeLong, he was batting .228, but had 18 home runs. And immediately when they traded for him, he had the second most home runs because Salvi and Witt were for 19. Yeah. So I had some friends that was like, I don't know about that shit. And I'm like, dude, he's got 18 home runs. I'll take anything we can get.
He's got a little pop.
And he had the home run the other day with Lorenzo when we took the lead on Saturday. That was big. And then he's had 3 or 4 RBIs. But I'm like, yes, I like him. And like I said, the Lorenzen gives you a fifth starter.
How crazy was that, though? We go to the White Sox. We go play them in a 3-game series. And the first game of the series, DeLong, what's his name?
Paul DeYoung.
Paul DeYoung. So Paul DeYoung. So he's in the White Sox clubhouse on game 1. All of a sudden, they trade him. So the next day, he's got to go over, switch uniforms, switch clubhouse, introduce yourself. And then they throw him in the starting lineup.
It was great to hear him talk because it's a guy, a veteran you want that's like, I'm here to help the team win. Whatever they need me to do. If they need me to play third, because he's a shortstop, but Witt's not taking any days off. Witt's played in every single game this year, which is fucking crazy. He started and played in every single game this year.
It's unbelievable.
It's unheard of. But so he's not, but he can play second and he can play third, and it's a nice addition. Like I said, the Lorenzen, and then you got Urseg and you got Harvey. They did a lot for them, and what they have to give up was not astronomical. And it's like I said, it's just fun, man, that they said this huge series against Boston. I'm stoked, man. I'm like every single day, I'm like, who's pitching? Who pitched the night before? It's so fucking fun because I remember that back in 2014.
Yes.
What it felt like to do.
Bro, every night before I go to sleep or the morning when I get up, when we're talking, having our conversations, I go online and I look through the standings and I'm seeing where everybody's records are, what's going on with everything. Then I'm going through it. Then I go immediately from there. Then immediately my next thing. These are all my favorite pages on my phone. Then immediately the next thing is the wild card standings to see where you are on the wild card and to see where all that is. But let's just talk a little bit about, like I said, man. Shout out to B Witt, man. The numbers he did in July were their record breaking type of numbers. I looked today and I was pulling up the stats. So in the month of July, he had 44 hits. He had 26 runs. Total bases were 75. He batted .489 in the month of July. His OBP was .844, and his I'm sorry, my bad, bro. His OBP was .520. His OPS
he batted .498.
Yeah, his .498. And his OPS was 1353, 1353. I'm sitting looking at that like, what in the world?
And the last game, he took a walk, the second walk. Had he got a hit, he would have been over 400.
Over 500.
500. Excuse me, over 500. But he did that. I mean, that's absolutely insanity
Ludicrous.
that he did that.
I'm talking to guys I played like fast pitch with, and we're talking, and they're like, "Dude, did you see what Witt did?" I go, "Bro, if you called me in the month of July and were like, hey, I went to 5 tournaments this summer in July and I batted 500 in fast pitch," I'd be like, that's pretty good, man.
I'm going to ask you a question I want you to think on. Okay. Tell me the last city that hosted the best player in the NFL and the best player in the MLB. And you think about that for a second. Right now, Mahomes is the best NFL player on the planet, and Bobby Witt, with the position he plays, is the best baseball player on the planet.
That's the I can't think.
They reside here in KC.
Yeah, it's unbelievable because you think about all the big market teams. You think about the New Yorks and the LAs and Boston and Florida and Miami, all that stuff. We're going to get into a little bit more stuff on a little bit later here in our episode today.
What you think about that?
I know, but we're going to talk about the Chiefs. We're going to talk about numbers. We're going to talk about Mahomes. That's why I kind of wore the Mahomes shirt today because in that EA Madden, or when they voted the top 100 players, he got voted fourth.
But he's a 99 though.
He's a 99 on EA Madden. Kelsey got the EA Madden, the 99. I saw those videos.
Yeah.
But like I said, again, Mahomes was fourth on the list. And I saw this, all the TikTok reels that come up. And I saw the TikTok reel that said, well, way to go. It was some dude from another part of the country, right? He was like, well, way to go, NFL. You just fucking pissed off Mahomes. You had to go make him number 4, didn't you? And they were like, well, 3-peat's done.
Which is ridiculous. I mean, that's the biggest bullshit in the world that he's the 4th.
He's the 4th. Listen, and shout out to our guy Tyreek who got number 1. Tyreek, you know I'm calling you.
We coming for you, Cheetah.
I saw you in the airport, bro, and you promised me you'd come on. Love you, bro, podcast. So I'm gonna hold you to that. Hopefully, catch you before the season.
We coming for you, Cheetah.
Hopefully, come in and get you on before there. But congratulations on being the number 1 overall on the ranking. But
the realest of real ones, Cheetah.
You might have pissed off 15 when they made him 4, and we'll see what that's going to do to people and the NFL making him number 4. So just in talking, more about, Bobby Witt's incredible July, bro, and what he's done. I mean, he's putting up historical type numbers, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, the numbers he's putting up, the things he's doing, like we just talked about a little bit earlier, those 2 plays he made and that White Sox after he hits a grand slam. When you're playing and you're in the midst of that and you go hit a big hit like that, some guys are wired. You go out there, you're like, man, just hit this grand slam, just put us up. But this dude's like, when you have that it factor, when you have that Mahomes factor, when you have that GOAT factor, when you have that. Now you start talking about with the Witt having that it factor, goes and makes those 2 plays at shortstop. Like, bro, those are like at the end of the season, those are MLB highlights of those shows.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and those are back-to-back plays for him.
No, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. And the fact that the show he put on at the Home Run Derby, had he not been a sweetheart and let his brother-in-law pitch to him, had he had. Had he had like his regular BP coach, so he would have won that, and he still put on a show. But the stage is not too big for him.
Why did he let his brother-in-law pitch to him?
That's sweet. I would do the same thing.
I know, but they kept saying he was like he pitched in the minors or he did like whatever. But like
they should have had his regular guy.
They should have had his regular.
It's in Arlington, it's family, so I understand that. But the stage is not too big for him.
No,
and he's got, like I said, he's a guy that you can tell he wants to carry them. And then you throw in Pasquatch. He's got 70-something RBIs.
Yeah.
And I said earlier, I'm like, I wish he hit some more home runs, but he's hit like 2 or 3 or 4 in the last week.
Dude,
like
that
when
guy
he hits home runs, but he's driving in runs.
Yeah.
And then Salvi is Salvi. Like I said, if they can get that leadoff hitter, because they had Fermin doing it.
Right.
Well, I love Fermin. Yeah. I love him. He's the best backup catcher in baseball.
Best backup catcher in baseball.
And he's got a little pop to him, but I wish we had someone like at the leadoff position, but obviously you can't have everything. But if they, like I said, if they figure it out and they continue to play well, and those starters give them what they want, what we've been getting, we'll be there. We'll be there. We'll be the last week. We'll be looking at scoreboards. It's a big series against Boston. Have to take 2 or 3. So you have your best pitchers throwing in this series. You have to get 2 or 3.
Singer, Lugo, and Reagans, you got to get 2 or 3. If you want to be that team come playoff time. But again, bro, we were talking back in June. We were like, hey, in June, are we going to be talking about them in July? Or are we going to be talking about, hey, training camp starts in a couple weeks. Here comes July. July rolls around. There they are. Still relevant, still there in the mix. We talked, remember when B-Mac was on, we were 15 games over 500. And he was like, okay, 15, or no, I'm sorry. At the time Mac was here, we were like 10 over 500, 9 over 500. And Mac was like, when you push that thing out to 15 games over 500, now you start talking about, and we'd got to that one point, then we were back down, we were only 5-6 games over. Now we're back to 13 games over 500. Now you're talking that B-Mac range of what he talked about. You get to that 14, 15 games over 500, now you're talking about they should finish out that season, strong.
No, and like they said, numbers don't lie. And we are the second in American League by run differential. The Yankees are first and we're second. Right. So it's just, and once again, everyone is super excited, but kind of waiting for that other shoe to drop or something to happen. But if they get what they get from Lugo and from Reagans and Singer doesn't need to be dynamic because he doesn't have dynamic stuff.
Right.
I mean, it's his first year he started throwing a third pitch. He's fastball. Yep. But he's been very good. So if you can get that, and then you get Lorenzen and you get Waka, that will carry you. That will carry you into September with having a chance. I
think we're past. To me, I think we're past the point of when's that other shoe going to drop, because we're after the All-Star break. We're 13 games over 500. We're talking about being here in the first week of August. I don't think the other shoe drops. I think they're going to be right there at the end. It's going to come down. I don't think the Royals are going to go, we're going to win 2 out of every 3 games the rest of the way, when we're going to be up so far. We're like, hey, we don't have to look back type of deal. No. But I think it's going to go down to that last week and those wins in those games. That going on with the Chiefs kicking their season off against the Ravens. And we're getting ready to start talking about some of the Chiefs stuff, because I spent one day up at camp. We went and did one day up at camp. And I know you and I want to get there one more day before camp breaks. We'll start talking Chiefs stuff. But I'm stoked about this Royal stuff, man. I'm stoked because, on the way here, on the way to the podcast tonight, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm like 14 and 15 were special years. But you got to think about what our payroll was and how we got 14 we were 90 feet away from winning back-to-back World Series as a small market team.
What is this? Fuck Madison Bumgarner. That dude would have beat us 3 times and came in and shut us out in relief.
Dude,
he came in for relief role.
Listen, this TikTok pops up on my TikTok today.
That's his name though, right? Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah, Madison. So this TikTok pops up on my reel today. It was the weirdest thing. So it pops up. And it's Joe Buck and some of these guys. They were doing the World Series. So Joe Buck's on there, and he's like, Madison Bumgarner takes a mound. It was in the 9th. We were down 3-2. And Hosmer's leading off, and Butler's on deck. This is 14. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, why this thing popped up? I have no idea. But I'm like, Bumgarner, he's stuck in our rear like 3 times to win MVP, to go and close that thing out. Bro, we were 90 feet away.
That's what they were saying. They should have set Gordo.
Yeah, but you know what? Everything's one of those deals of like, the armchair quarterback. We can be the armchair quarterback.
But think about it. In 15 we won. They sent Hosmer and what's his name?
He made him throw the ball in the.
Yeah, I mean, so you don't ever know you're gonna rack like that.
No.
And what's his name? DeLuca, or listen, I don't know.
I'm gonna bring one of my guys up from. And I know this isn't. I'm gonna bring one of my guys up from the old fast pitch days. But shout out to my old coach for the Kansas Metros, for Gil Solis, the general. The general used to tell us, when you were taking bases and doing stuff, we're gonna run until someone in the outfield throws us out. We're gonna run until some guy shows us that he can throw us out. Then we'll know, okay, we don't run on that guy. So to me, like you said, in that series of 14, how do you not send Gordon?
Yeah.
Make that dude throw you out the play.
He probably would have been out, but but you don't know if the ball gets away or goes. But regardless, we were 90 feet from, which is crazy in that whole, lead up. The All-Star game was here in 2012, home run derby, and then, it was kind of ramping up to that. But no, right now, man, it's, like I said, it's exciting. Like I said, I literally try to watch every game. It's hard with the girls to watch every, but at least listen to it. But, and the guy, I love Josh Vernier.
Yeah.
He's fucking awesome. He's so underrated.
Right.
He is so underrated, but I like his, he's really, really good. So I like to listen to him before games. And then after games, whether I'm, coming home, leaving, I like to listen to him, and he gets good calls, but it's got great takes. It's just got a different feel right now than it has in a long time.
For
like
sure.
I said, I'm hoping it holds up. I'm hoping we continue to go down the path that we're doing and competing every night and doing it because it's so fun. It's and once again, it's crazy. And like I said earlier, it's like the Chiefs are they're everything and it's awesome. But it's like there's 17 games out, 16. But baseball's every night.
Right.
And when you're in it, it's like every night you're like, okay, I got to get this. I got to get this shit down. I want to see the score. I want to watch. I want to listen. However I can do, whatever I can do.
How fun is it though, bro, to see when you watch MLB tonight, you see the baseball shows at the end of the night, and you see them start off with a Bobby Witt highlight. You see them start with a Bobby Witt Jr. highlight, and you see what he's doing. It's so much fun. Turn on ESPN and be like, man, we're relevant. We're in the thick of this thing, man. We're in the thick of this thing.
And bro, they play great defense. They steal bases. Miguel Garcia's second in the major, that can steal bases.
Right.
He can steal bases. And the fact that he, when they're having trouble with Massey and his back, but we need Massey.
Yeah,
Massey extends the line.
I love Massey.
What's crazy, bro, is you think about it. And Massey adds pop. I think he's got 9 home runs. He has played, but Massey can take it yard. And then, MJ, I know everyone wants to run him out of town. Everyone wants to run him out of town. And rightfully so. Because you see this flashes of talent, but the guy has improved so much in left field. He can go get it. He's got a good arm. But 2 nights ago or yesterday.
Yesterday, man.
We're down 2-0. I'm taking the girls to the pool, and I'm like, man, fuck this, dude. We're done. This is so stupid. We lost last night and blew it. And so I'm listening, and the girl's like, Dada, and I was like, hold on a second. And Greg's like, Melendez goes back. It's going on. I'm just like, yes. And Vinny's like, what's going on, Dad? And I was like, we just won. And Vinny's like in the back seat, like, yeah.
But it's just, so when that came up yesterday, I'm same thing. I'm on the radio, another part of the city, so I'm sitting there listening, and on the radio he goes, they're going to pinch hit MJ Melendez, who is 0 for 12 in pinch hitting situations. And then all of a sudden it's like, back, gone.
Yeah.
3-2 Royals.
No, everyone. If people lie if they weren't on Twitter, being like, "Fuck, it's over. This is horrible. Why is he still on the team?"
It's not like you're pinch hitting some guy that's like, yeah, man, we're pinch hitting a dude that's got a shot.
No, and he had a big one against the Dodgers like that. Right. So it's like, what I said earlier, and I've told this like to our nephew Alex about the Yankees because he's like, George, it's what you have now. You're not pulling anyone out anywhere. There's no more trades to be made. It's who you have. So you got to give love to everyone. And like, hey, you know what? Positive moment. Good for you. Like I said last night, the fact that Harvey was able to get his first save with the Royals, you got to build on that and stack on positive stuff. And like MJ, like you don't win that, dude. It's 2-0, and he hits a 3-run homer, and you win it. So
hey, listen, shout out to our nephew Alex. We love our nephew Alex. He loves his Yankees. But listen, I'm telling you what. Tonight I came out. I'm wearing my Royal stuff. You know me. I'm the homer that wears all the gear, all the stuff. You're the style guy that wears all the fashion, does all the stuff. Tonight I was like, they're getting ready to do a new statue with Kobe and his daughter and all that. So I wore my legendary shorts, my Kobe shorts tonight.
I'm Mamba for life.
My 8-24. Yeah, I know. So I had to wear my Lakers stuff for Kobe. Man, you're so rest in peace, my brother, man. The Mamba, nothing like him. I had to wear my own home stuff, but I had to wear my Royal stuff, man, because they're just so fun to watch right now. And like I said, watching Melendez yesterday, man, when he came up there, like, well, MJ Melendez pinch hitting and he's 0 for 12. I was just like,
yeah, dude, no one's coming. That's what I was like, I'm like, this is busted, man.
And the guy goes deep in the right field. 3 or 4. We had to take 3 or 4 from the Tigers after we blew that one on Saturday. But anyway, listen, we've spent enough time on the Royals, man. We're so excited. We're pumped. The Royals, listen, the other shoe is not going to drop. You guys are going to be relevant the next 3, 4, 5 weeks. We're going to bring B-Mac back on. When we bring B-Mac on, he's going to talk about what happened over the course of the summer. We're excited about that. Let's get into a little bit of the Chiefs stuff, though, bro.
Before we get into the Chiefs stuff, if the Royals make the playoffs, you need to get a Royals tattoo somewhere on your body.
Done, man. The Royals.
We'll have Kenny, our cousin, come on and do it live. We'll get a little banger, but you need to get a Royals shit somewhere.
The Royals make the playoffs. I'll do a tattoo live here. We'll bring Kenny here. We'll have him set up a table. I will do a Royals tattoo. The Royals make the playoffs.
Yeah. Same, and I'll get some. Yeah.
I said we both will. Yeah. We'll have Kenny come on. We'll pick some design. We'll put the Royals thing on there.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do here at Love You Bro Podcast. Just have a lot of fun, man. Have a few beers, chill with my brother, do the stuff that we do all the time. You guys, we do this because we love doing this, man. We're just a couple of kids from Kansas City just hanging out, talking sports. But stay tuned because I was on the phone today with Brandon Flowers, number 24. Shout out to B-Flow. He's in Paris right now, hanging out. Talked to Dwayne Bowe. Dwayne Bowe's in Thailand right now.
Of course he is.
Debo's just hanging out with his family, but that's what I love about Debo.
I wish Debo would be here. We could have him here in person.
I know, man. I know.
But anyway, it'll happen live.
Listen, what we'll do is we'll get Debo on. We'll get B-Flow on. Hopefully when those guys come back for one of the Chiefs weekends, whatever, we'll get our great production crew, who I'm staring at right now. We'll get our great production crew.
About to come on with us.
We'll get our great production crew to be able to do something where we shoot it at a different time, but we'll get B-Flow on, we'll get Dwayne Bowe, we'll get those guys on to shoot them like here, hanging out on the couch, talking and chilling. So B-Flow's coming on, Dwayne Bowe's coming on. But
and you know who I am? We're going to get Frank.
Frank's going to come on. Frank Clark's
Double fives.
Yes.
Double fives. When 5 pulls up, I'm going to have everything 5 needs and nothing he does.
Listen, shout out to 5. 5, listen, we've talked. We've talked. We know you're coming on. So we got some great guests coming on, man. That's gonna be the fun part of our show is we love to sit and talk about our takes and what we like to talk about. But our guests, we have some super cool people coming on that we've talked to. So be looking forward to that. A little later in our episode, before we shut off tonight, we're gonna bring our intern.
Yes, Lily girl.
On top.
Lily girl.
Intern Lily. She's been awesome this summer, man. We've had so much fun with her. She'll be heading back to TCU this weekend for her senior year. So good luck and everything with that.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for being here this summer with us.
You did a ton. Thank you so much.
We loved having you and being here. Our production team, our intern, great. We can't do what we do here without them.
Lily girl, can you tell me when KU plays TCU? Do we play you guys this year in football? Oh, you already have the date down.
28. Okay. I was gonna correct you for a minute. September 28th.
Where's the game?
Arrowhead. Lily
you coming back?
Lily will be here. Our friends from Proactive Solution, Natalie and Dean Thede, have a suite for that game. So our proactive solution people will be there. They have a bus. I know their whole family's coming in. TCU, Kansas. So we're gonna get out to some Kansas games.
Yeah. So Lily, we'll have to make a bet. If TCU wins, then we got to come on the podcast in some TCU gear. And I'll rep it all day, and I'll make it look clean and fresh. KU wins. You have to from a popular bar where you guys like to hang out. You got to wear Jalen Daniels or something. We'll purchase. Yes. No, you do.
But we want you to shoot a little clip from TCU. We don't want you to do it here and not at Aunt Natalie's house. We want you to shoot something in Fort Worth at TCU in some KU gear and say, you know what? This is a shout out to my boys. I love you, bro podcast. We made a bet. And we made a bet.
We'll be like purple, two toads.
Yes.
Two frogs here.
What? Lily, what is the, I don't know, what is it? That's it?
I'll get that tattooed on me somewhere. I swear. I'll get like
whoa, tattoo. Lily, that's a huge.
I will. Yeah.
Listen, we're gonna do some tattoos, but I don't know about the TCU tattoo, bro.
I will.
But
if they win.
We will wear the next podcast. If KU loses at TCU, we will wear TCU gear on our podcast. And just respect for our girl Lily, our intern. But
thank you so much for everything, Lily.
Thank you so much for being
to join us.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on this summer. We can't wait to get you on set here for a few minutes before we shut down. So we'll get to that here shortly. Bro, let's get into our Chief stuff.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Chief stuff to talk about. A lot of position stuff that I want to talk to you about because I know there's some stuff we talked about early on that you were worried about, and I don't want to say I'm worried about it because I'm starting to see a lot of the national guys kind of jump on. What are you feeling right now with our left tackle situation? Because from what I'm seeing, from what I'm hearing from training camp, is Coach Reed said it was going to be an open competition between Wanye Morris and I don't even want to say his last name because I'll screw it up. I'm going to say it by his first name, Kingsley from BYU. But from some of the stuff I heard on the radio earlier today, they're talking about that Kingsley's got a majority of the snaps with the ones.
And that was last week, bro. Last week they were like, he had like, once Pats came on, he was getting the majority. And they moved, which I love, is they moved Wanye into left guard to give Tooney some rest. And so I think they love Kingsley. So once again, I know I give a lot of shit and bullshit, but if that's what Veach thinks and Kingsley's his guy, I know this. And there's no denying it. No, there's no way you can shake it up. That's a lot to put on a rookie left tackle in our division alone. You can say what you want about busted ass teams. Denver sucks. The Raiders suck. But there's some monsters out there.
Let me just ask you a question. So one of the guys that loves to get after us, loves the rivalry. He loves it very much. But Crosby. Yeah, I mean,
boy, that boy feasting right now.
I don't know.
That boy, that's what you're gonna do against me.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just, and nothing against Kingsley because I've seen you at training camp. I've been up to training camp a couple times. You and I are gonna try to get out there next week so we get a day before that so that you can see live and see what's going on. So nothing against Kingsley because we're seeing what you're doing. We're seeing your stuff out there. I just don't know until we see. You can do stuff in padded practice and do stuff all you want. Yeah. But until we see the live game situations.
But
But let me ask you a question, bro. Let me ask you. I'm gonna get a little bit more company here because I want to ask this question. I want to hear your answer. How do you feel about putting Kingsley to start the season, open up September 5th on a Thursday night against the Baltimore Ravens, and you start him at left tackle? How do you feel about that?
Like I said, I mean, you want my honest answer? Or you want my
no?
Well, I mean, once again, if Veach and them think that's their guy, then that's their guy. So there is nothing to. Once again, they have a pretty decent track record of this is their offensive line and making guys work for periods of time.
Yeah, right.
So that's their guy, then that's their guy. Like I said, I haven't seen anything up close. It'll be, which is once again, it's crazy that Saturday they open up preseason. Like it's so here. Crazy, dude. It's so crazy. It's so crazy from literally watching the Super Bowl and I didn't watch any of that shit, and I was like, I'll come over, and then I was there at your place, And before the game was starting, I'm like, man, I'm going to dip. I'm going to slide out of here. And Dad's like, where are you going? And I was like, I'm going to go home. And he's like, what? And when Pop said, like, well, you can't watch. And I was like, oh, fuck. I'm like, all right, man, I'll watch. But I already had my shit set up in my crib by myself. And then I was like, okay. So then shit started looking. I was like, I'm out. Sorry, Dad. I love you. But you know, I will. With that, bro, you just got to let him ride. If that's what they like and they said he's a guy, then King's a guy. I know every other position solidified on that offensive line. And I think Juwan's going to have a better year. You know, I think he's going to be a guy that stands out at right tackle. And I think he'll my exciting stuff about that offensive line is right now how universal they all are.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, you know, interchangeable parts and moving one, which is great. And it's so smart. And no one in the NFL puts more emphasis on guys that are universal, can play left, right, you know, through the line of scrimmage.
Boom, boom. You hit the nail on the head right there. There's nobody more universal, and I think that's because of Reed. Because Reed knows how important.
That's their philosophy. That's their philosophy. You got to be able to play inside, outside. I don't care if you played your freshman year at right tackle. I mean, Mitch Morris.
Yeah,
he was a
shout out to Mitch and good luck with the Jaguars this year. But what a great dude to bring on our show, man. How cool is Mitch?
You know what? Literally, 2 weeks after it, both Minnie and Teddy were like, when can we get to see Uncle Mitch? I was like, he was the fucking stud and so cool and so natural. We were when the cameras were off, we were sitting back there. I'm like, I'm sorry. He's like, no, are you kidding me? And they like both went up and like were sitting on his lap. And I'm like, this is wild. This is crazy. No, but he's a great dude. Yeah. And so the fact that that's cool that he's here this weekend.
Yeah. No. The Chiefs are at Jacksonville.
Sorry. Yeah.
At Jacksonville. We had talked during this summer when I was doing some work for him, and he was like, bro, if you want to come and watch, he's like, if you want to come watch your team at the Jaguars, he's like, I got you. He goes, it's going to be hot as hell out there. I was like, no. But you know what? I'm so happy for him, his beautiful wife, Caitlin, and their kids. That Mitch, I had the opportunity to go to Jacksonville because, you know what? As much as Mitch loved Buffalo, I know it was tough on Caitlin and the kids with being in Buffalo, just weather-wise, because there's just so much snow and cold and all that. So I know he loved Buffalo, and Caitlin, they talked about ranted and raved about their time in Buffalo. But hats off. Hey, Mitch, good luck in Jacksonville this season.
Absolutely, brother.
Good luck with you every game, but when you come up against, our guys in the red.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we've talked a little bit about, like I said, the offensive line. If Veets is with, Kingsley and Reed believes in Kingsley.
Yeah. And right now they signed Butker and they signed him to, essentially the best kicker in the NFL. And they signed him that. So what people are saying right now is they will, who's not their plans, which I'm fine with. I love him. Hope he has another great year. Is the Justin Reed situation where Justin Reed, they won't up him, but they got a bunch of safeties. Right. They're not going to sign him, but they plan on signing Trey, Creed, Bolton, and then Butker, which is, to me, that's your core. I don't want to see any of those guys. I don't want to see Justin leave, but I think after last year, he played himself out of you can't pay a safety.
No.
He's a dog. Yeah. And he had his first year here, he was good, but last year he was sick.
Yeah.
He was really good.
We've been blessed last several years. Shout out to one of my guys back in the day. He was one of my guys here, man, doing some work for. Shout out to Tyrann Mathieu, because Tyrann Mathieu,
bro, he changed the whole culture.
Bro, when Tyrann came in, the year he came in, and Frank was here. However, that whole relationship developed. Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu, they clicked and they got it. And I'll never forget. And I'm bringing this up, bro, because we're talking about safeties. We're talking about Justin Reed. So there was a game that the Chiefs lost at Arrowhead, and Tyrann came out. I was in the players' lot doing some work. So I'd come out to the players' lot after the game, and Tyrann came out. He was the first one out of the locker room. No interviews, no anything. And he came out, and he was pissed. He was hot, man. He was pissed. So he came out. I'm like, bro, what's up? And he's like, man, I'm telling you, Frank and I didn't come. We didn't come here. We didn't come here for this, man. We didn't come here to lose these bullshit games. And that Super Bowl, Super Bowl 54, when they win that thing, man, Frank and Tyrann and like I said, shout out to Tyrann Mathieu, man, because him and Frank, they changed the culture in that locker room, bro.
100%.
They changed the culture in that locker room.
They did, and that was like to a different standard. And Spags actually had weapons to work with. Yeah. And those dudes, they balled out, man. They balled out, and Frank was a different guy in the playoffs.
Yeah,
He was a different guy in the playoffs.
sure.
And there's blood in the water.
Blood in the water, man.
You saw Frank and what he did, and he took it to the next level. It was like he was unblockable, man.
Yeah.
He went and got it, and
Yeah.
So for both those two dudes, man, forever.
He had sacks during the playoffs, and then sacking Garoppolo, and what he did against Tennessee and stuff in that AFC Championship game. Like I said, man, super excited for what the Chiefs are going to be doing this year. It's fun to watch all the media, all the ESPN, the Ryan Clarks, and all the stuff that's going on ESPN, man, because, a couple years ago, we've done the repeat, right? But 2 years ago, it was like they lost Tyreek, they can't do this, they can't do that, so they go and win that way. Then last year again, we struggled during the season because 15 came out at the beginning of training camp and said, I don't want to go through another season like I went through last year.
It was a difficult thing.
Because he said it was difficult to not put points up, to not put the yards up, to not do the things that we were accustomed to doing. It was tough.
Yeah.
And for 15 to come and say that, like I'm seeing guys, we're just a couple of KC kids hanging out talking sports because we love sports. But to watch the NFL guys that do this day in and day out go, man, last year, halfway through the year, none of those guys said the Chiefs are going to win. They were all like, nope, time's up. Baltimore, Buffalo, Cincinnati. And then Burrow went down. But Baltimore, Buffalo is what they kept saying. They weren't telling us we were winning a Super Bowl.
What I like right now is all the fighting camp that they're just like, because it means they're competitive. They ain't there fucking lollygagging.
100%.
It's like, today Rice threw the ball at the Cole Christensen or whatever it is, and they got some shit. That's like means it's like, obviously it's 110 degrees, you're trying to do that. But I think that three-peat is the motivation. And I love to see him competitive like that and pissed off and irritated as opposed to bullshitting and
I'm telling you right now, going up. So I went up for a purpose when I went up the first day that they had on full pads. So, Jessica, my fiance, went up there. We took PJ up there, and we saw the first day of full pads. To watch them get after the first day of full pads, bro, this team, it's different, man. They've got, it's not like, hey, we won two, like blah, we're walking through this. Bro, they've got that swag, man.
Yep.
They want that three-piece
best part
bag.
is next week, bro. Next week when we're here, we'll have a preseason breakdown,
Yes, sir.
and we'll go all Chiefs. And hopefully the Royals came out of this week like I said, winning, I don't know, 3 of 5 because it's
let's hope that they got to take 2 or 3 from Boston. They got to take 1 or 2 from St. Louis.
Dead birds, like I said earlier. Fuck those.
Hopefully they sweep the
toasted
Cardinals out.
ravioli hill. Fuck them. Yeah,
I'm not listen, you and I talk about that all
hate
the time.
the Blues. The Blues suck.
We're not a St. Louis. I mean, St. Louis, why does St. Louis always think that they're like just a tad bit under Chicago? They think they're Chicago.
And they're like, you're not Chicago, you're not better than that. Like So hopefully they sweep the dead birds, and it'll be interesting. So look forward to next week, man. We'll have a lot more stuff, but
man,
we'll be back, man. Love you.
Listen, I love you, brother. It's so fun to get back here to our new setting. Shout out to Lula, Southern Cookhouse. Sorry. To Lula's. Thank you guys so much for letting us do this here. Love being back. Loved having you on the set tonight.
Yeah.
But we have so much fun to look forward to this fall. A lot of dudes coming on, a lot of people coming on, a lot of great guests. So let's see what the Royals do this week, man. We'll get back after this next Monday.
Yeah.
And we'll have that first preseason game.
We got to get Lily up on here, though.
Yes, we do. We're going to have about a little segment with Lily. So our next segment is going to be with Lily.
Yeah.
All right. I love you, bro.
Love you.
So last part of our show that we want to do on this episode, number 11, we want to bring on our intern from TCU, Lily Thorne. Lily.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being a part of our podcast.
Absolutely.
Social media, doing our stuff. But I want you to talk a little bit about, like, this was like your internship over the summer. How did you like Love You Bro podcast? What was it like seeing some of the guys, meeting some of the guys? What was it like for you this summer?
It has been a blast. I loved it. So I do a lot of the behind the scenes with social media and the marketing side of things. And I'm a marketing major, so it fits with my interests. And
of course.
I love sports as well. So it just kind of was perfect thing for me. And luckily, Jude and now Jamie.
So was it hard to keep the DeVella boys in line? Was it hard to keep us in line? Was it hard to be like, okay, 1 Davella is enough, but 2 Davella is like, I didn't sign up for this internship. No.
You guys are hilarious and you have such good energy. So it's been really fun.
Well, thank you for that, Lily. It's awesome because obviously our families go back a long way.
For sure.
Your Aunt Natalie, been one of my best friends since I was 12 years old. I've known your mom, your other aunt. He's
Shout
known the
out.
family. Like, so being around that and just being around that was fun. And when Natalie and I talked, she was like, Lily's going to be home for the summer. She's a marketing major, different things. I was like, oh my God. And that's like, she'd be perfect to bring on to the podcast. And you just fell right in hand, and it was like family. So it's easy to have you on to be a part of this.
100%.
Yes.
It's been such a joy, and thank you so much for everything you've done. You've been awesome.
Of course.
We will pipe you in some point in time from Fort Worth to come on the show, and we're on and do a little segment. You'll have to, and it's like I want that to be a thing. And we got our bet. We played our bet. And I will get a tattoo somewhere. I'm going to get this, right? I'm going to get this. Jude is like, that's a little much.
That's a little much, man.
It's for you. You don't have to. I'm pledging that. Now, I'm not going to say where I'm going to put it, but it'll go somewhere. But yes.
So we talked off air. We talked off air a little bit. So we have a cousin, our cousin Kenny, tattoo artist and stuff. Great little place over off Warnell, that his shop that he's at. So we've talked a little bit about if the Royals make the playoffs. Jamie was like, the Royals make the playoffs. I'm like, bro, the Royals make the playoff. You and I are doing on live on our deal. We'll have Kenny on set.
You have to.
We'll do a Royals make the playoffs. We're doing a Royals tattoo. Jamie and I both. But Jamie made a bet with you, side bet before we started talking here. TCU KU September 28th at Arrowhead. Jamie said, if TCU beats Kansas and Arrowhead September 28th, I was talking about wearing TCU shirts on the Monday that we do the podcast. Jamie, what you said you're doing?
You'll tell me, I want you to wear this football jersey or basketball jersey or whatever, and I'll rock it here. But in addition, if you guys do, I'll get ink somewhere, and it won't be some little bitchy ass you can't see it. I mean, it'll be decent size.
Bro, you're telling me right now.
Something.
If TCU wins, you're telling Lily right now.
You're going to do a TCU tat.
You're doing TCU.
1,000.
I love it.
1,000, and it won't even be like I said, I'm not going neck or face, but no, somewhere I absolutely and be like, hey, to me it'll be like, tattoos I made Lily a bet, throw in a bet, and I lost, and here that's like that, or I don't care. I'll get TCU. I don't care because we're making a bet.
Yeah.
I love it.
But my end of it is a lot easier.
But once again, you have to be in Fort Worth wearing a jersey of ours. Yes. For a night. It doesn't have to be. It might be the basketball game when we play you guys.
No, not in the basketball game. Listen, if we beat TCU September 28th, we will get a Jalen Daniels jersey or T-shirt, something. We're going to mail it to Lily. We're going to overnight, whatever we got to do to get it there. Lily will come on live via one of our streaming methods. We'll have her on, and she is going to be in Fort Worth at a TCU bar. Wearing that rock, give us the Rock Chalk Jayhawks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That's fair enough.
That's fair. Yeah.
Well, we were so lucky, and it was awesome. You did a magnificent job. I'm so excited to see where your future goes
because
you have a super bright future. So, thank you for everything you've done, and I can't wait to see where your rocket goes. It's like it's you have no ceiling. So
if anyone's hiring out there,
absolutely.
If anyone's hiring, please contact us. We will put you in contact with Lily. I call her my Lily Bean because that's just one of our family deals. Their family, awesome. We've been around them forever. Mean a lot to me. Yeah, your mom and dad,
you guys.
Great. It's
getting to meet the Chiefs players.
Yes,
and
didn't you love that? Some of the pictures you got to take with some of our guys.
So
I think Lily, one of your first episodes, if I'm not correct, was with Charles, and I'm like, how much I like his style.
Yeah.
And then he's literally in Paris the following week in Paris.
Right, Fashion Week the next
week in Paris.
Yeah, and on Insta, I'm like, holy shit! I'm like, I just said how, but he's the coolest, right? He just had this
hilarious.
Yeah, he's absolutely awesome.
It was nice. You got to meet George. You got to meet George Karloftis. Shout out to our guy George.
Shout out George.
Yeah, everything we're hearing about George right now this year, but everything I'm seeing on NFL stuff, they're saying George is going to blow up this year. They're saying they're saying double-digit sacks, man. If George goes for 10.5, 11 sacks this season,
he can do it.
He's gonna get paid. Yeah,
he can,
for sure.
Absolutely.
So Lily B, this fall, obviously, Kansas City girl, You'll be watching all your Chiefs guys you got a chance to meet. You'll be watching our
Yes,
squad.
in my Hardman jersey.
Yeah, your Hardman jersey, McCole Hardman.
Shout out
Jet,
McCole.
Shout
Yeah,
out
shout
to
out
McCole.
McCole for real.
Listen, Jet, you know how I handle your business when you want me to handle stuff off the field. So you told me you're coming on. So I'm gonna expect
coming on.
I'm gonna expect one of these Mondays to see my boy Jet come on our podcast. Again,
Yes.
Lily, we just wanted to bring you on for a few minutes to thank you.
Thank you so much for everything. I'm
for
serious.
everything
Thank
you've
you
done.
guys for this opportunity. It's been so fun.
I hope you've had
You'll be
fun.
missed. You'll be missed on here. Yeah.
I hope
I'll
you've
come
had
back.
fun.
I'll
No,
pop
I know.
in.
Yeah, well, you have to. And we will, I'm serious, we will hit you up sometime like on a Monday night and be like, hey, can you have 20 minutes, 10 minutes of your time to come on and say what's going on TC? Because you like
Yeah.
help from the ground up kind of build this. And, yes, we'll hit you up.
Tell
sure.
me right now, this summer, wasn't long because everything was so quick and so much stuff going on. What was your favorite part of being on Love You Bro podcast or working on Love You Bro podcast this summer?
To see what scarf I was going to wear.
No, Jamie, that's your Manny Hughes deal.
I feel like part of it had to be meeting some cool people for
Okay.
sure. I loved Mitch too,
Yeah,
and George
Okay.
and Charles,
Okay.
and being in rooms with those types of people, and Christy and Dawn.
of course.
And you
And
were an
then with you
absolute
guys.
natural, though. You were an absolute natural, and the moment wasn't too big, and it wasn't like you were. Very professional, and that's why I know you'll be amazing. As you continue to pursue, your.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's very
You're
nice.
amazing. So you'll be missed.
miss
But
you
you said
guys.
we're going to hit you up and say you're coming on this Monday night. Make it available.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's Big
For
Monday, Big Monday in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Before you go into the arena, you're going to come on and be like, "What's up? This is what's happening." So
I'd love to.
Yeah, absolutely. We love you. Thank you for everything you've done, and you'll be missed.
Lily, when you head back to TCU, I'm really, really hoping and praying that you go and say, follow Love You Bro podcast. I was a part of this. I was an intern.
sure.
So let's drive some followers down there in Fort Worth.
Yes.
We'll get some Big 12 stuff coming on, the new football season.
Everyone follow the TikTok, the Instagram, and the Facebook.
Yes, and X, and follow us on X
X,
as well.
yeah,
Yes,
that
Lily will probably do a little bit more social media before, but I know she leaves this weekend. So Lily, thank you again.
Best
from
of
the bottom
luck.
our hearts.
Thank
Safe
you.
travels.
Best
Thank you for
of luck. See
everything.
you in a year,
guys.
okay?
We love you.
We love you.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Thanks, Lily.